Hello everyone, it is Briximus Prime, and today we're going to be taking a brief look at the Transformers Generation Selects War for Cybertron Trilogy G2 Sandstorm. And so this particular character here is based on one of the cone heads that came out during the G2 era under the name Sandstorm, which was originally owned by a G1 Autobot character. But anyway, so I never was able to get my hands on those original Coneheads figures. I mean, it should be obvious. So it should also be obvious that this is the only Conehead I do own because it was the only one that was it was one of the few that was actually affordable and in my price range. Taking a look at this Generation Selects packaging here, I always liked getting these cardboard boxes because it always felt like such a premium item when it came in these boxes, and it's got this like spray painted Autobot logo on it, and it says Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy. It's got a sticker down here that has the name of the character, and it says Generation Select Authentic Transformers. And then, other than that, they don't really have anything else going on. And then, as you flip it open and take a look at the inside, it's just got a bunch of this, I guess, like, techno stuff in there, and then the figure would rest right in here, like it would on a mainline Transformer. And so, that is really it for the packaging here. Sandstorm only comes with this pair of null rays, which honestly is kind of underwhelming. I would have liked for this guy maybe to have included maybe some blast effects or, you know, just something a little extra, because this guy is technically one of those figures that's exclusive online, so online shipping would have been nice if we got some extra blast effects or something. Null rays obviously plug into the shoulders, and this guy totally does not look right without his null rays. No Seekers do. And also, I should bring up, before I get into the figure itself, technically I have taken a look at this mold before, in the form of the Studio Series 86 Coronation Starscream figure. And so technically there are a lot of similarities between the two, but there's just enough differences that I'm still comfortable making an entirely separate review out of this guy. But just letting you know, I am going to kind of jump and skip through some things. And here is taking a look at Sandstorm's head sculpt. This is the major difference between this guy and Starscream. The cone heads, obviously, were given the big signature look, as the fans called them Coneheads, due to their giant cone on their head, due to their transformation from jet mode.
Hey you, I'm trying to record a review downstairs.
But one of the things that did bug me a little bit was that this isn't even the actual cone from the jet. And the reason why that bugs me is because I really would have liked for this little painted detail on the side to have been here on the head as well. But obviously it shines more in the jet mode, which we'll get to in a minute. And then coming down the body, all of the molding and sculpting all across this upper body and the shoulders and on the arms is all exactly the same as the Coronation Starscream, but where this guy differs is here on the back. He's got, obviously, the paint scheme. I mean, you're not blind, are you? But the other difference is that right here, instead of having those giant wings that go on his back, instead the wings are now here on his shins, which I should also mention, technically due to transformation, the wings, according to the instructions, go folded back like this, but I actually prefer to fold them forward because that just looks a little more cleaner and a little more flushed to the leg, and also it has some of that camo detail on the outside instead of being hidden away. So that's just my personal preference. And then right here, these shins all right here are also brand new sculpt, but the feet here are not. Everything else literally is exactly the same, though the articulation has changed just a little bit, specifically here in the head. He can look up that far, not really down, can pivot a little bit from side to side, and then he can rotate from left to right. Shoulders rotate a full 360. Now they are not hindered by any wings. Arms can move in and out. Biceps swivel. Now over 90 degrees of bend at the elbow. No wrist swivel, but due to transformation, he does get this upward bend at the wrist. No waist swivel. This front skirt moves up, which allows for the leg to kick out that far. It can kick back, not that far. Can move outward that far. He does have a thigh swivel. Little over 90 degrees of bend at the knee, but then it does bend over 90 degrees, but it just ends up looking like it's 90 degrees anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And then his ankles can pivot, and he also has some slight toe articulation. Also, one other thing I should mention about the Coronation Starscream review. In that review, I mentioned that this guy looked a little fat. Like, the Starscream figure, like, let me just bring him in. I know we're gonna, I guess we'll get into comparisons now, but bringing in the Coronation Starscream figure, this guy looks too fat to be Starscream. Yes, it looks accurate and all, like he has the colors and everything, but he's a little too fat. Honestly, I don't mind it for the Coneheads because I always felt like the Coneheads were the always felt like they were the ones that were like the muscle of the Seekers, so their bigger body just indicated that they were, you know, the stronger, more muscle-based Seekers. Technically, the Coronation gear can also work on this guy as well. Close enough. Just to show you what I mean by Seeker body type, here is Sandstorm compared next to the Siege Skywarp. And also, yes, I am also showing off Skywarp so I can flex on all of you. And now let's get into Sandstorm's Transformation. And here's taking a look at the Generation Selects Sandstorm in his jet mode. And yeah, basically it's just the same as Dirge and Ramjet and some of those other guys. Only except now it's done in this very appealing sandy camo design. Also, like I said, I love this face that's painted on the front. Really gives this jet a lot of character. Now again, this is technically based on that Transformers Universe Seeker mold, and again, that's where my complaints lie with the figure is Hasbro really shouldn't have redone an older mold. If you were going to, you should have added a lot more bells and whistles to it, like waist swivels and wrist swivels. And then, I mean, you did add ankle pivot, but you got to do a little more, you got to put in a little more effort, Hasbro. But as I said, the Conehead version doesn't really bug me all that much. I'm just saying, I feel like we could have gotten a lot more. Especially with right here on the jet, there is no landing gear. So when you rest it down on the ground, it just looks like a sitting duck. And overall, I feel like this is actually the better jet mode out of both Starscream and this one, because I actually like the more angular, narrow design, but I think it's mostly because I'm biased toward the little face right here, as well as all of this painted extra camo detail. But yeah, honestly, there's nothing much to really say here. I mean, you can open up the ankles here, and they've got little ports. You can plug in some blast effects back there. That's always fun. And honestly, there's nothing much else to say. If you don't like the null rays sticking out right here, you can make them more flushed to the jet mode by sticking them to the sides of the jet body, so you can just do that as well. But yeah, other than that, I don't really got much else to say about this jet. And then here is the Starscream compared next to the, you know, the Conehead. And as you can see, you can really see where the differences lie in how this is such a heavy retool from Starscream, because there is a lot of extra parts on this than there were on Starscream. That's kind of supposed to give you a bit of some difference. And then here's me flexing with Skywarp again, only except as he's in his Tetra Jet mode. For anyone trying to find a Skywarp from either both Earthrise or Siege, good luck. And that is basically it for my review on the Transformers Generation Selects G2 Sandstorm. And yeah, so first of all, I do love this figure. The only thing is, like I said before, it just feels so weird that Hasbro redid and rehashed this mold from a way bygone era of toy engineering. I wish some of the engineering on this guy was more similar to the Siege mold, because some of the things that I miss on the Siege one is the fact that he had these butterfly joints that allowed for some nice forward movement to really get those null ray poses, but then the waist swivel would just emphasize those just that so much more, and it would make these amazing looking Seeker poses, but they didn't put that on the Earthrise one. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still love the Earthrise version of this with its Earth mode jet, but I just really wish that the articulation was more on par with the Siege one. Even though the looks may not be the same, at least they would still pose and be an enjoyable process. So anyway, if I had to give this figure a rating, I give him a solid 6 out of 10. Again, the posability does affect me that much, and I really feel like this guy is way too static for a modern Transformers figure of nowadays. Be sure to give me a like on the video, subscribe to the channel for more action figure videos, share this video if you want, if you like, it would really help, and comment down below what you guys think. And yeah, thank you all for watching. This has been Briximus Prime, and I'll catch you guys next time.